What's going on, guys? Tony Hannity's here with Lazy Tech TV, and this is the Fightpad wired controller from PowerA. Actually, the full name is Fusion by PowerA wired Fightpad. It doesn't really roll off the tongue, but I'm not into fighting games like Street Fighter or Killer Instinct and things of that nature. But what I do like are bits and pieces of tech that cater to a specific subsection of an overarching area, and that would be fighting games. I came to my friends here in Daly City, California, who own their own shop, and they also have a myriad of different gaming systems and a myriad of different, let's just say, accoutrements for fighting games, including a fight stick, and I brought this along. Now let's talk about this guy. This looks very different from your average Xbox controller. In fact, kind of looks like a Sega Genesis or Sega Saturn kind of controller from back in the day. It only has a D-pad, there's no two thumbsticks. And on the front here, you'll notice that it has 6, not 4 buttons. And you can customize this accordingly. In addition to that, you do have your shoulder buttons here too, but you have this toggle switch here to determine how you want these shoulder buttons to enact. Of course, just like any other PowerA product, you can have the removable faceplate, as it does come with 2, either the white or the black, and just magnetizes to the front just like that. This is wired, but what's really nice about PowerA's wire is that first off, it's braided. Second off, you have the locking mechanism going into the actual controller itself so it won't fall out. And then on the other side, where it plugs into the console, it has the quick release. So if it ever gets pulled, it's not going to pull your whole console out of the wall. Really nice. Kind of back in the day mentality, but it still works today. And then also, of course, it does have the 3.5mm jack in the back here, so you can just plug in your headset and listen to and talk to people that you're fighting against or people you're fighting for. So how is this? Well, again, as I mentioned, I am not the fighter. I know nothing. I'm a button masher, and I would probably turn this upside down and fight this way and somehow win 1 or 2 rounds but lose 20 to 40 rounds. So I'm going to hand it over to my friend Dilo, and we're going to talk to him and see how this compares to a regular fight stick. Dilo, thank you again for doing this. I appreciate this. So this is the fight stick. You've already had some time to play around with this with a Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So you normally play with a regular fight stick. Can you show off what that looks like to people who aren't aware?
Fight stick.
This is a regular fight stick like you would find maybe in an arcade.
Very similar, yes.
Yeah, very similar to that. But this is a much more crunched down variant of it. And there's 2 ways that you can utilize this. This is the standard, traditional way, or as your brother mentioned, the claw way, right?
Correct. There's 2 methods of holding a fight pad / fighting controller. A lot of pro players actually do prefer using the claw method and using a fight pad very similar to this.
So, being that you've played using a regular Xbox controller and the fight pad, would you recommend this, or what are your concerns, or what do you like about this?
I like the portability of it. It's very similar to the fight stick, but you don't have to bring this big old box around. Just throw it in your backpack and be good to go. Yeah.
One thing that you had mentioned were the buttons. You said the buttons were too small.
For me, the buttons were too small, a little bit too tight together.
Okay.
They're a little bit spaced out a little bit better. It'll probably be better for me.
Okay.
But I mean, you learn to adjust. That's all it is. It's just a learning curve that if you want to use this thing, and you have to practice on it.
So would you say that for people that are into like Street Fighter or Dragon Ball Z, things like that, they should get this, or they should just stick with what, the traditional Xbox controller?
It's just use whatever is comfortable that you enjoy playing on. I mean, there's no standard in the fighting game community. It's just whatever you feel that you like.
If you entered EVO, which is, for those who don't know, is a fairly prominent fighting game tournament.
Correct.
Could you bring this, or do you have to use a
No, you can actually use this. This is one thing that they actually do like, is because it's a wired controller and it's not wireless battery powered.
Right.
So this is what the standard is a wired controller slash, a wired stick or whatever.
Cool, great.
Yeah.
Well, Diley, thank you again. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for PowerA for sending this my way and allowing us to test this out. We're gonna go in a few more rounds with this guy. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave that in the comment section down below. Links, as always, can be found in the description down below. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under Lazy Tech TV. I'm also on Mixer under Lazy Tech Tony, and I've got a podcast called the Still Recording Podcast, which you can find pretty much anywhere podcasts can be found. So until the next time, late.